Hi, this is a little mini lecture called the Closed Bag Talk. It's about public speaking. A time-honored screenwriter's trick is the closed box tactic. Make a closed box or a suitcase core to the plot. The audience is then more inclined to keep watching because they want to know what's in it. Well, last night I gave a talk to a rose society. Now, a talk about plants has inordinate potential for inducing sleep, so I decided to use the closed box tactic. Actually, I used one of those white plastic disposable shopping bags. In a nice case of serendipity, I happened to have one with a rose imprinted on it. I then assembled a collection of props to pull out of the bag when it would feel right. A copy of my book called Light, which has a touching story in it about flowers, and I would read that when it felt right. In case you're curious to hear that 3-minute story, it's called Ikebana Circle, Ikebana Circle. You can Google it on YouTube, and you'll find it. I also included an article called Why I Love Growing Roses, which again, you can, if you search on that, Google that, you'll find it. And I made copies to hand out. I put an actual rose in Oasis, that's water-absorbing hard foam, and put that in an empty half-and-half container and taped it shut so it wouldn't leak. My plan was to give it to an audience member who made a particularly interesting comment or asked a great question, which I ended up doing. In the bag also was a toy, foot-long piano keyboard, really small, so I could play the song The Rose and the other song La Vie en Rose, and then as an unexpected kicker, things are best funniest when they're in 3, I then played an iconic Halloween ditty. Da 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 da. Anyway, I started my talk by explaining how I got into roses. Coming to California from New York, I saw those beautifully formed flowers bloom most of the year, unlike in New York. But I lived in an apartment, so I grew them in 5-gallon soy sauce containers that I hung from my apartment window. The audience laughed, and that made me kind of a kindred spirit. After all, these guys and women were members of a rose society. Of course, mainly I offered tips on the talk's title, A Lazy Person's Guide to Growing Good Enough Roses. Basically, I talked about choosing varieties that were very disease resistant, kind of like Sexy Rexy or Rainbow's End, Oh So Easy Italian Ice, using a watering system and once-a-year Osmocote time-release fertilizer. Anyway, when I was first booked to give the talk, in preparation I wrote an article on that topic of Lazy Person's Guide to Growing Good Enough Roses, and and you can find that also. If you Google that term, you'll find it. And by the way, all the links to all these are going to be in the text version of this talk I'm giving to you, which is going to be on Medium. By the way, and I'll have a link to that at the bottom of this, right underneath this video. Anyway, by the way, writing a short article is a good way to prepare for a talk, crystallizes your thoughts. I spent maybe a third of the talk answering questions. That ensures that what I said would be of interest to the audience, not too high level, not too low. I ended by saying, pretty much verbally, verbatim this, everything I've said here has been custom for you, but I am going to end this as I end every speech, and it's not because I promised my dad I would, although I did do that. I'm going to tell you this story because it offers an important lesson that has helped my clients, and yeah, me. Maybe it's going to be of value to you. And again, there is in the text version of this, there's a link to my telling that story, so you may want to look at that Medium article. I'm proud of the way I told that story. I told it to a group of scientists at MIT, and they were moved by it. Anyway, I hope you find a nugget or two of value that you can use the next time you're asked to say a few words. And anyway, I welcome your thumbs up on this and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 28 books. Perhaps the most relevant of them for this is How to Do Life, or Baby Steps. All my 28 books are on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search on my name, Marty Nemko, Nemko. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.